Hello and welcome to Crossings Through History. Today we'll be looking at the Venango Avenue grade crossing on the WNYP Mainline in Cambridge Springs, Pennsylvania. I originally photographed this crossing in September of 2020, and at the time it had a bit of a mix of signals here. There were two road signals, one being very old and one being much newer. The old western signal featured 8-inch Satran lights, a WRS/USNS gate mechanism, and a WRS mechanical bell. Plus, it also featured a pedestrian gate. Meanwhile, the newer signal on the east side featured 12x20-inch WCH frames with GE uniform look LEDs, a newer WCH gate mechanism, and a second-gen WCH mechanical bell. This signal was installed sometime in the 20-teens, replacing a similar signal to the western one. More than likely because of the sharp corner just east of the crossing, the old signal was likely knocked down by a semi-truck. The old setup also featured a pedestrian gate on the northwest quadrant, which featured a WRS/USNS gate mechanism. And finally, there was another gate that protected a little alleyway known as Wall Street. This gate was somewhat useless, however, as traffic only went in one direction, and it was not in the direction towards the crossing. This would be important later on. Here is the relay case for the old signals in the southwest quadrant. The grade here had also been resurfaced as part of a major upgrade project to the crossings here in Cambridge Springs, which would also spell the demise of the old signals. Now here's where things get really strange. By mid-October of 2020, the new signals had been installed. However, if you take a close look at them, you see the lights are all completely disarrayed. Most of the lights were not pointing in the direction that they were supposed to be doing, and this absolutely just confused me at the time when I photographed this, considering that they had just installed these signals. Both of the new signals featured 12x20-inch WCH frames with GE uniform look LEDs inside of them, progress rail bases, newer WCH gate mechanisms, and new third-generation WCH mechanical bells with the newer logo. Yes, they even replaced the newer signal that was on the eastern side, although I believe parts of that signal were reused over at another crossing in town. The crossing received a major upgrade in terms of pedestrian gates, with a new one on the western side replacing the old one that was there before. And on top of that, two new pedestrian gates were installed on the east side, with one protecting the primary sidewalk and another protecting a different sidewalk coming out of the old station in Cambridge Springs that now serves as a museum. The only downgrade that the pedestrian gates had was that a new one was not installed where the western road signal is, as that old signal had a pedestrian gate and the new one does not. A look over at the alley now shows that the Wall Street gate was removed without replacement. Once again, most likely due to the fact that this was a one-way street going in the opposite direction from the crossing. Here's the new bungalow in the southwest quadrant, replacing the old relay case. Finally, a return visit in December 2020 shows that all of the lights were fixed and now facing the correct direction as they should have been in the first place. Also by this point, stop on red signal signs were installed on the main gates along with DOT tags. The WNYP is one of the few railroads I have seen outside of Michigan that actually installs stop on red signal signs on brand new signals. And especially weird considering the fact that the old signals did not have stop on red signal signs. And this completes this look at the Venango Avenue grade crossing. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see these pictures and more in full resolution, click link in the description for the page for this crossing on Mike's Crossing site.